right, everybody. We're all here. I think Antoinette might still be getting her stuff together. Oh, there she is. Hey, girl. Okay. We are all here now. All righty. So sit down. Of course, it's chair yoga. I'll go through it medium fast. Antoinette's still a little bit new. So look down. We always start class the same way. Look down at your feet. You have that imaginary line going across the front of them. One foot is not further in front of the other foot. All the toes hit the exact same spot. Good. You lift your toes up. I want you to spread them really wide to the point where you can feel a little bit of stretch in the webbing in between the toes. Let the toes gently come down. So we don't grip, we don't press. They're just kind of hanging out. And then you're going to press the heels down a lot. Okay. So as those heels press down, you should feel less pressure in the back and you should feel more engagement in the thighs. So try to maintain that at any point in time when we're sitting. And then notice what your default is, right? So your default is you are either leaning forward, you're a forward leaner like myself, or you are someone who hangs out more in the back of the sits bones, and it's a lot harder for you to press those heels down if you're doing that. So just notice the default and then rock a little forward and back. And what you're looking for is neutral. So you're feeling yourself go to the front of the sits bones and the back of the sits bones, and then you're noticing where is my center. And when you find the center, you keep it there. And then you're going to press those heels down again. Keep the quads nice and strong. Very nice. So imagine that the front of your body is like a zipper, right? Think of from your pubic bone all the way up to the neck, and you're going to zip that in, right? So everything pulls in. The ribs, they like to splay open, right? Zip them in. Let the chest lift nice and high. Good. Shoulders roll back. Elbows come back and in. And when you're ready, just let your eyes close. Feel the crown of your head extending up towards the sky. And we will start with our 3 sighs. So 3 times, breathing in through your nose, open the mouth, sigh through the mouth. These big inhalations, keep that front body zipped in. You'll feel how the breath moves more to the back of the body, more to the side of the body, and not as much to the front. And after you do those 3 sighs out through the mouth, by all means, if you feel like you want to take more, take more. But when you're ready, you'll transition just to nostril breathing in and out through the nose. And we talked a little bit about this last week, but just observing for yourself which nostril is more dominant right now in the inhalation. So certainly you're breathing through both nostrils, but you switch dominance of your nasal cycle approximately every 3 hours. And one nostril will be breathing in just a little bit more air than the other. And just noticing where you are in that nasal cycle. And keeping the front of the body nice and zipped up, meaning the front ribs are pulling towards one another. And let your inhalation and your exhalation deepen. And if that front body is still zipped up, again, you're going to feel the breath a little bit more in the back body, a little bit more in the side body. So just observing that. You can engage your Ujjayi breath if you like. And just that quick reminder, Ujjayi is having that slight constriction in the back of the throat. The way you learn it is by saying the word ha on the exhalation, but with your lips closed. You feel that constriction occurring. And then with practice, you learn to maintain that on the inhalation as well. Notice if the heels are still pressing or if they've become light. Notice if you've moved into your default or if you're still in the center of the sits bones, nice and neutral. And then try to maintain this anatomical posture as long as you can. When you're ready, you are very slowly going to let the eyes flutter back open. Beautiful. We are starting right out today with cat cows. So you're going to stay right kind of in the center of your chair. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that tailbone forward, round the low back, round the middle back, round the upper back. Let the head drop. As you inhale, you're reversing that. Lift the tailbone, arch the low back, the middle back, the upper back. Let the head lift. Your breath, your pace. It doesn't matter how fast somebody else is going. Doesn't matter how slow anybody else is going. You're doing this with your own pace of breath. Sometimes it's nice to do it with your eyes closed. You take some of that distraction away. We'll do about one more full breath here, meaning a cat and a cow. When you finish that, you're going to come right into those barrel rolls. Again, take your time getting there. So the barrel rolls, you're trying to make that circle with the belly button, or you think of making that circle with the waist. And the shoulders come along for the ride. You move a little side to side on the pelvis and the sits bones. But it's that area of the waist that's in control. Beautiful. And then you're going to reverse it. Bring it around the other direction. Lovely. Bring it back. Find your center. All right. So seated Tadasana, seated mountain, just like we started. Press those heels, zip up through the front of the body, chest nice and lifted. Very good. Bring your arms down by your sides. We did this last week also. You're just going to start to make some circles. So today we're working on arms, we're working on legs, we're working on stretching, we're working on strength, doing a little balance. So full body. If you want a little bit more, you're going to lift your arms up about parallel to the floor or parallel to the ceiling, depends on how you look at it. Good. And then if you want a little bit more stretch, if you do it parallel like this, you're probably going to get a little more work in the muscles of the shoulders. If you want a little more stretch though, you're going to lift the arms up kind of diagonal and you'll get a little more stretch in the chest area, kind of that under the armpit area. Then release that down. You're going to reach the arms out in front of you. You're going to lean forward. So you're coming to the front of the sits bones. Press the heels down a lot. Take your arms behind you. Palms are going to face up. You're going to squeeze the arms in towards one another and then just give some pulses up. So these are easy, gentle pulses. They don't have to be fast. Okay, your arms don't have to be super high. They might be down by your hips. That's all good. And just do what feels good for you. But please do breathe. Good. Come back to center. Reach those arms out in front of you again. Good. Turn the palms up. Turn the palms down. Little shoulder rotation here. Just up and down. A nice steady pace. Press the heels. Good. And the next time your palms face down, you're leaning forward. We're going to do that one more time. So you lean forward, nice flat back. Press the heels down a lot. Bring the arms behind you. Try to draw the hands towards one another. And then just a couple little pulses. You're looking down on the floor, maybe a foot or two in front of your toes. So the neck's nice and neutral here. And you're breathing, right? Think of Ujjayi breath if that's something you're trying to work on, maintaining Ujjayi breath throughout the class. I'll give you some reminders. Good. Bring yourself all the way back up to center. Reach the arms out in front. And one last time, just turning the palms up and down. Lovely. And one more up and one more down. Very nice. Alrighty, take those hands down. We are going to do alternating one leg at a time here. So all I want you to do is you're just going to straighten your left leg, flex the heel, and then let that knee bend. And then you're going to straighten the right leg, flex the heel. Good. Let that knee bend and just go side to side. So if your leg doesn't go all the way straight, that's fine. You're still working on strengthening those quadricep muscles. So a lot of times with knee pain, lots of us have knee pain, right? You want to strengthen the muscles around the quadriceps, right? Around the knee itself to help take some of that knee pain away. It's not magic, but it does help. Good. You really want to press that heel away from your body as the leg straightens. Good. Let's do one more each side. Perfect. All right, you're going to scoot forward just a little bit in your chair here. Look, I just did the Shanai thing, just a little bit. At least I'm catching myself. All right, you're going to take your hands behind you. So the heel of the hands are kind of like on the side of the chair here. And you want to lean back a bit, all right? So you're kind of more on the back of the sits bones. Elbows are bent if they can be with that chair behind you. And you're going to lift your left leg. And you're going to put it down. And you're going to lift your right leg. And you're going to put it down. We're just going to do this a little bit side to side. And then you're going to have the option of lifting both legs at the same time, okay? So that's a bigger challenge, a much bigger challenge. There's really not much of an in-between. So if you try that and it's not for you today, this is what you continue to do. And we won't be doing, maybe do it 2 or 3 times. Good. So one more each side, doing it single legged. And then if you want to continue single leg, continue single leg. Otherwise, zip those legs together, lift the knees up, and then bring them back down. And if you want to continue, you can do that 2 more times for a total of 3. Beautiful. Awesome. And then come back to the center of the chair. Bring those feet hip distance apart again. All right. You're going to straighten your left leg. Okay. So even if you're down here, that's cool, right? Wherever you are. And then I want you to try to lift it like a millimeter, right? You're going to lift it up. just a little bit. You're going to hold it and you're going to breathe and you're going to shake and then you're going to put it down. And then we're going to go to the other side. So right leg comes out, just lifting it to where you can. And then you're going to see if you can lift it up, maybe a millimeter, maybe an inch more. You're going to shake. And you're going to put it back down. And we're going to do that one more time on each side. So you're going to straighten the left leg, lift it any amount that you can. So you're starting to work some different muscles, a little more in the hip flexor. And then you're going to bring that down. And then you're going to do the other side, last side. And then maybe you lift it up any amount that you can. Beautiful. And then you're going to bring it back down. And I know I did this. I kind of scooted, kind of rounded back a little bit and went onto the back of my sits bones. So if you did that also, make sure you're in the center of the sits bones. You did not. Bravo. All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your left foot, bring it out in front of you just a little bit. This is like a plie kind of, if anybody ever took dance. And it's going to work your inner thigh. So your toes are pointed kind of diagonally. Keep the chest nice and high. You're actually going to point your foot instead of flex the foot, and you're going to lift up and then back down. Right? You don't have to lift the foot super high. Maybe it lifts just a little bit. Right? Maybe you're working on getting the strength to lift it and it doesn't come off the floor. That's fine. Right? Do what you can today. Good. One more. Release that and then go to the other side. So knee comes out, right? Toes pointed, and then you're going to lift and then you're going to lower, right? And usually you can tell a difference in left side, right side. One side's going to feel stronger to you. One side's going to feel easier to you, right? Those mean the same thing in regards to what we're doing here. And two more. And release that down. Very nice. All right, you're going to bring your arms out to the side, but the elbows are bent. Okay. And we're just going to inhale, straighten the arms, reach to the fingertips, palms are up. You're going to exhale, you're going to bring the elbows back in. Okay. You inhale, you come to parallel, reach to the fingertips. You exhale, you bring it back in. Beautiful. If you want to do your Ujjayi breath with this, you can. If you don't want to do it, just make sure you breathe nice and slow. I love it when everyone has their camera on. I don't get that every class. This is great. I get to see you all. Good. All right, one more. Very nice. So from here, you're going to bring the arms forward, reach it up, bend the elbows, bring it back down, and then out. So we're working on shoulder rotation. Okay, so you bring it forward, reach it up, kind of a round down, and then back out. All right, so we'll do a few of these. Good. Let's do one more. So forward, up, bring it back down, and reach it out. Awesome. Now reach the arms out, and you're just going to turn the palms back, forward and up. Okay, so different type of rotation. In a moment, we're going to combine all those arm exercises that we just did. Last one. Good. Place those hands on the thighs. Just kind of roll the shoulders out for a little bit here. Giving them some good work today. All righty. So starting position is like so. You're going to reach out, extend through the fingertips. Bring it back in. Bring it forward. Lift it up. Bring it down. Bring it to the side. Extend out. Turn the palms. Turn the palms again. Bring it in. Good. And again, reach it out. Good. Elbows in. Bring it forward. Up. Back down. Bring it out. Straighten. And palms. One time for each. And then the elbows come back in. And we'll do it again. Reach it out. Reach those fingertips. Good. Bend the elbows. Take it forward. Bring it up. Take it down. Good. Bring it out. Straighten the arms. Yep. And palms. Bring it back in. We're going to do it one more time. Reach it out. Reach the fingers. Good. Bring it in. Take it forward. Bring it up. Bring it down. Side. Reach it out. Good. Palms back. Palms up. And release. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All righty. So we're going to do the half cormorant, half goddess pose, I guess you could call it. If you just want to do the arm part, you can. If you just want to do the leg part, you can. If you want to do both, then you can, certainly. All right. So let's start out with your arm in front of you, right? Elbows bent like 90 degrees. And then you're going to reach the leg and the arm out, and then you're going to bring it back. We're going to stay on this right side. So you're going to bring it out, and then you're going to bring it back in. Good. So if your body just wants to do one of these, that's cool. Just do one of them. Okay, we're doing two more. Awesome. One more. Good. Reach it down. Other side. So left arm's going to lift. Good. Take it out. Good. Bring it on in. Two more. Yes. Fabulous. Take those hands down. We're going to stretch out our neck a little bit. So you're just basically nodding yes, but you want to make sure the shoulders stay back and the chest stays up. So you're going to exhale. You're going to bring that chin down towards the chest. And then you're going to inhale and you're going to look up. Your breath, your pace. Exhaling as the chin comes down. And inhaling as the chin lifts up. And then you're going to bring yourself back to center. Really important for this next one. Again, the shoulders don't move around. You want to keep them back, but also really down. And so you're going to just move your chin towards the right side. Make sure that left shoulder is back and down. And then you'll come back to center. And then you'll move it over to the left. Make sure the right shoulder is back and down. And then back to center. Right? So when that opposite shoulder starts to creep up, then you take the stretch away. And it's just a range of motion exercise, but not working on increasing that range of motion through stretch. And one more, last side here. And then we'll meet back in center. We'll do one more little thing here. So you're going to bring the chin down to the chest. You're going to roll the right ear to the right shoulder. Bring the chin down to the chest. Roll the left ear to the left shoulder. We're just doing this dynamically today. Especially if you are somebody who carries tightness in the neck. You're going to find those shoulders wanting to creep up. Focus a lot on those shoulders, staying back and down. All right, and then bring yourself back up to center. Wonderful. All righty. So we are going to do kind of that dynamic chair that we do sometimes when we're going from sitting to standing. I will say super important because I know there's some people here with some knee stuff going on. You do want to make sure that you can see all 10 of your toes at any time that you are in chair pose. So when we're doing this, I like to scoot my feet forward a little bit. You can go ahead and scoot forward, maybe like a half-foot distance. I guess that depends on how big your feet are. And then you're going to reach your arms out in front of you. I like to lean forward, press your heels down a lot, come into a chair pose. Good. You're squeezing that imaginary block. Lovely. And then you're going to sit back down. Good. And you're going to do that 2 more times. Carolyn's wanting to come in. I'm going to admit her real quick. So you come back on up into your chair, right? You're hanging out here for a moment. Hey, girl. Good. And then you're going to sit back down in your chair. Good. So this last time with chair pose, we're going to do chair and then we're going to stand all the way up. So you're going to reach it forward, come into your chair, squeeze that imaginary block, draw the heels towards one another. Right? If you were in class yesterday, think of the heel stuff we did in bridge pose, same here. And then inhale all the way up, reach those arms up. Exhale, take it to the heart. Great. All righty. So grab some water. We're going to be doing lots of moving while we're up here. After you get your water, we'll set up for sun salutations. Give you some time to do that. Great. All right, so your chair, seat of the chair facing you. You are going to have your feet hip distance apart, right? Look down that imaginary line. One foot's not further in front of the other foot, but they are hitting the line all at the same spot. Press the heels down, engage the quads, drop the tailbone, zip up through the front of the body, shoulders back. Okay, so it's pretty much the same as how we start class out, but the legs are straight this time. All right, we'll go slow for the first one. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your right knee, lift your left arm, twist. If you need to modify, place your left hand on your left hip. Good, bring it back to center, switch sides. The left knee is going to bend, right arm's going to lift, twist. Good, modify shall you need to. Good, bring it back to center. Walk yourself back, downward facing dog. So hips over knees, over heels. If you find your back is really rounded here, bend your knees, lift the tailbone. If the back is straight, straighten your legs, work towards that, but keep lifting the tailbone up. Big stretch in the back of the legs. Great. Right leg's going to come forward. Warrior one pose. So left heel comes down. Hands can stay on the chair. They can come to the back of the chair. They can come to your hips, right? Maybe out to the side, maybe up in the air. If this left leg super important, push it back, push the left heel down, and make sure you can see your right big toe, the front toe. Beautiful. Take those hands down to the chair, bring it back down, dog, Adho Mukha. Same things apply. Right? More important to have a neutral spine than straight legs. Good. Bring that left leg forward. Warrior one, left side. Right heel drops down. Find your hand position. Push back a lot through the right leg. Push that right thigh back. Push the right heel down. And make sure you can see the left big toe. Knee safety. Beautiful. Take those hands down. Bring it forward. Forward fold. Right, check out that imaginary line. Feet are level. If you want to take a chair pose here, you can. If you're going to do that, shift the weight back. Weights in the heels, drop the hips, bend the knees, reach the arms forward. Make sure you can see all 10 of those toes. And then regardless of whether you're in chair or forward fold, inhale, reach it on up. And exhale, take it to the heart. Great. And again, inhale, reach. Move from the hip crease, exhale, fold. Great. Bend your right knee, lift the left arm, twist. Modify if you need to. Love it. Bring it back to center. Bend the left knee, lift the right arm, twist. Modify if you need to. Great. Bring it back to center. Walk it back. Down dog, Adho Mukha. Check out that imaginary line. Feet are touching it in the same spot. Spine is neutral even if the knees are bent. Good. Right leg forward. Warrior one. Okay. If you want this warrior one harder, you're scooting your left foot back more. Right. Lengthening it. And you're bending your right knee deeper. You can see that right big toe, left leg's engaged. Push it back and down. Awesome. Take the hands to the chair, bring it back, down dog. Kind of stay in down dog for a moment. It's a reset pose. It's a rest pose. Great. Warrior one, left side, left leg's forward. So again, if you want that bigger challenge, scoot your back leg back more, bend your front knee more, and then reach the arms. The arms are tired, put them on your hips, put them on the chair. No one says you have to do the same warrior one every time. I know we're holding it. Breathe through it. Ujjayi. Beautiful. Take those hands down, bring it forward, forward fold. And if you want to take that chair pose, you can, or stay in forward fold. If you're in chair, weight is in the heels, drop those hips, reach the arms forward. If you're in chairs, even though the heels don't move, squeeze the heels towards one another. You're going to feel those inner thighs engage a lot. It's going to help you. Awesome. Inhale, rise and shine all the way back up. Good. Exhale, heart. We're adding on. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Good. Bend that right knee. Lift the left arm. Twist. Great. Switch sides. Bend the left knee. Lift the right arm. Twist. Awesome. Bring it back. Down dog. Maybe while you're just hanging in down dog for a moment, you observe for yourself if it's gotten a bit easier. even just a little tiny bit easier as the back of the body loosened up some. Good. Bring it forward. Warrior one, right side. You want to scoot that left leg back a little bit, scoot it back. You can see the right big toe. Good. You're going to take your hands down. We're coming into warrior two pose. So remember, warrior one, hips are squared to the chair. Warrior two, hips are squared to the long side of the mat. So you have to move your left leg back a little bit, open the body, reach the arms. Make sure you can still see that right big toe. And your gaze, if it's comfortable on the neck, is over the right middle finger. Beautiful. Take your right hand onto the seat of the chair. Okay, depending on how far back you are, you might need to scoot forward a little bit. And your left hand's going to come to the hip. We're coming into triangle pose. So you're just going to straighten your right leg. Yeah. And then your left arm can stay on the hip. It can reach towards the wall on the left side. It can reach up towards the ceiling. Okay. But this is an inner thigh stretch. Usually where you feel this stretch is in this inner thigh area. Good. Take your left hand back to your hip. You're going to bend your right knee. Right hand stays in the chair. We're coming into side angle. Okay. So same thing with the arms. Maybe it's on the hip. Maybe it's reaching towards that back wall. Maybe it's up to the ceiling or extended side angle. You're going to take your arm over your head. Think bicep near your ear. Right. If you want to make this really hard and you don't use the support of the chair, you can always put your forearm on your right thigh. Then it's your whole body that's supporting yourself. Good. Slowly bring yourself all the way back up to warrior two. Right leg is working. And you're going to straighten that right leg. And I call this cartwheel the hands. So you just cartwheel the hands onto the seat of the chair. And you're going to make your way back into downward facing dog. Again, down dog is a reset right now. You guys kind of stay where you are. I'm just moving my chair to the other side of my mat so that my back is not towards you on this other side. Good. All right. Warrior one, left side. Left leg's forward. Determine where do you want your arms. If you want to scoot your right leg back a little bit, you can. You don't have to, but you can. Beautiful. You're going to take the arms down, make your way into warrior two pose. So remember, my hips are no longer squaring to the chair. My right foot comes back and I square my hips to the long side of the mat. Come into my warrior two. I want to be able to see my left big toe. If it's comfortable on the neck, look over the left middle finger here. Good. Coming into triangle pose. So left hand's going to come onto the seat of the chair. Right hand on the hip. Straighten that left leg. Big inner thigh stretch. If you want to reach that right arm back, you can. You want to lift it up towards the ceiling, you can. Right? Something that my trainer, my 500 hour, I think it was, would always say is pretend like you're in between two panes of glass, right? So my right shoulder is not coming forward, but the right shoulder is pulling back. My right ribs are pulling back. Beautiful. Take that right hand back to the hip. Bend the left knee coming into side angle pose now. So you can stay just like this. Again, you can reach that right arm towards the opposite wall. You can reach it up to the ceiling. If you want to do extended side angle, you reach that right arm up over the head, think bicep near the ear. You're still in between those two panes of glass. And if you want to make it even harder, then you take your left forearm on the left thigh. Okay. All of these, remember, are just options. Okay. You do what feels good to you. Lots of different choices. Good. From here, come back up, warrior two pose. That left leg still working. Beautiful, ladies. Cartwheel those hands down. Bring it into a forward fold. We're going to stay in this forward fold for a moment. Okay, if you want to get deeper into it, you can drop onto your forearms. It's okay to let your back round in this forward fold. If you want to take your hands onto the chair legs, let the head drop a little more, you can. If you feel comfortable, maybe you let your hands dangle. Maybe you grab your elbows and rock side to side. So we're doing this as a low back release. And so wherever you are in your forward fold, you're going to make your way back to having your hands in the chair. In that typical forward fold that we do. If you want to take your last chair pose, you can. If you want to stay in forward fold, stay there. Good. Regardless of where you are now, inhale, rise and shine. Arms above the head. And exhale, take it to the heart. Good. All right. I promised a pigeon pose. So we'll do pigeon pose and then we'll lie down and relax. And we're working on Viloma ones. We did that last week and we're just going to keep working on it. So have a seat in your chair. Pigeon pose, like, juiciest, best hip stretch ever. All right. So right ankle's crossing over left knee here. Flex that right foot. And we did work our hips today. So if you want to lean forward, you can. Just remember, think chest is coming over my shin. Just timing it. So relax your jaw. Try not to clench your teeth. Perhaps you let the breath get a little deeper and a little slower. Great. Bring yourself back up if you did lean forward and come on out of that. Switch sides. Left ankle over the right knee. Flex the foot. Good. Keep that chest nice and high. Or if you want to lean forward, again, chest is coming over the shin. Yep. And you breathe. We're doing 40 seconds on each side. Relax the jaw. Go ahead and start getting that deeper, slower breathing in. So that when you lie down in just a moment, you are already partway there. I'm relaxing. Beautiful. Bring yourself back up. And then go find a place to lay down. Grab my water. I guess you don't have to lay down, but you can go sit in a recliner or something as well. Once you find that comfortable place, get all your wiggles out. Try to do your last bit of fidgeting right now. Let your eyes close. And maybe as you start to just notice your breath, you can start to allow it to deepen. Longer, lower, deeper inhales, and longer, slower, deeper exhales. And there's a saying that we have in yoga, and the saying is the quality of the breath reflects the quality of the mind. So when the breath is slow and deep and relaxed, you find that gives your mind the permission to also be calm, be still, be relaxed. And you're just going to start counting the in breath. You can count the out breath as well if you like. But working on Viloma 1, the focus is the inhalation. And, if you're familiar with Viloma 1 and you did this with me a year or two ago, and we did it like very extensively, and you want to go ahead and get into that 3-part breath, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, the way I typically begin teaching it is that when you're counting your inhale, you are going to try to make the inhalation an even number, a number that you can divide in half, like cut in half. It might be 4, 6, or 8, or 10, or 12. For those of you that are doing the 3-stepped inhale, obviously you will have yours separated by something divisible by 3. And what you're going to start to do is see if when you breathe in, you can breathe so that the air comes to the lowest portion of the rib cage first. And you can kind of zip up that that front body a little bit so that you can also feel how that inhalation expands sideways and into the back body as you're doing your breathing. And when you're ready to start your Viloma 1, All you're doing is you're creating an intentional pause in the inhale. So you're going to inhale and you're going to inhale all the way down to the lower portion of the ribs. And then you're going to pause halfway up, halfway through that count. Right? So if your count is 6, you're going to count to 3 and you're going to pause. And then you're going to inhale the other half, the upper half of the rib cage. And then you're going to pause again at the very top. And then the exhale is smooth and slow all the way out. Nice and smooth and slow. And then you pause at the end of that exhale. And if you want to take a couple of normal breaths in between each of those stepped inhales, you can. Or if you want to link them together, that's what we call it, where you do a stepped inhale followed by a stepped inhale and so on, then you can do that too. It's totally up to how your body and your mind is feeling in this moment. And so, just a reminder, right, you are inhaling halfway up, starting with that bottom portion first, and you pause, and then you exhale the other half, top portion, and you pause, and you let the breath come out nice and smooth. So, part of what's happening during those pauses on the inhalations is that you are giving your lungs the ability to adjust and expand in ways that they have not typically been able to do when you're breathing just in and out smoothly. The lungs are not a muscle, they cannot expand and contract on their own. They take the shape of the rib cage that they're in, the shape of the container that they're in. So when you inhale in that bottom portion and you pause, your lungs kind of have this ability to bring air into and push air into areas that perhaps have been more stagnant. Right. And the same thing with that second half of the inhale, where you're at full expansion, and you pause. Right. Again, it shifts a little bit. And, there have been scientific studies that have been done on this breath, and it is proven to increase your lung capacity. It is proven to show that you bring in more oxygen that's beneficial for your body and your red blood cells um, when you practice this technique. We all breathe differently. We all breathe different lengths. And so that's why you're not going to hear me say, count to 6, pause at 3, because you might be in a totally different space, and that can change day to day. It can change minute to minute. At any point in time, you need to lower your count or raise your count. You can do that. I'll say one thing that I would encourage, I've already touched on here, is for you just to be aware of any ways in which your breath shifts, the physical sensation of where you feel your breath in your body. How does that shift or change, or does it? Perhaps you find after doing this for some time that there are places that are typically hard for you to breathe into that start to open up for you. You may not fully open, right, miraculously in a 10-minute session, but the more that you practice it, the more open those areas will become. Just like the lungs are not a muscle, the ribs themselves are not a muscle, but in between each of the ribs, you have what are called intercostal muscles, and that is what expands the rib cage on the inhale and what contracts the rib cage on the exhale. So you are working on loosening some of those muscles that are tight and that are not allowing the ribs and the lungs to open to their full potential. And that pause gives them that ability to react. As usual, those of you who want to continue practicing this Viloma, or if you want to rest, do any other technique, you can. And you'll just ignore the rest of what I say. Stay as long as you like, and I'll end the meeting for you. If you are coming back at the end of the class, then you'll start to let that awareness expand back into the space that you're residing in. And let go of that Viloma 1 and just breathe in and out naturally, effortlessly. Maybe noticing where you are in that nasal cycle, or letting your fingers and your toes wiggle and allowing yourself to return. But I will say that you are amazing. You are enough. You are loved. You are loving. And be grateful to yourself that you allowed yourself to fill your cup. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful intentions. Namaste.